Good evening, everyone. Okay, who we got? Oh, there's only, okay, Sean, me, Jim. Okay, we got three of us. I know that Michael's not going to be able to make it. He called me earlier and said he was swamped with work.
And Mike Heaton won't be here either.
Okay, let's hope. Okay, Jim Hunt. Okay, I mean Dan Hunt's here. Okay, we got four. We can do something if we have to. All we need is four.
Through the chair, you're live on HCAM TV.
Thank you, Bob. Excellent. Oh, my wife's not watching. I just finished eating a rack of ribs. I had to dispose of everything quickly. Okay, we just need to see if somebody else shows up. We'll give it a couple minutes. Oh, we get okay. Arnold, you here? Beautiful. Arnold, it looks like you got a new camera. Your screen looks great today.
Okay.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of us. Oh, Mike Damasio's here. Okay, great. So I'll open. Wait a minute, I forgot my spiel. Hold on. Peter, I'm glad you're here because I don't have my opening remarks sheet. And public hearing notice. I mean, they're not the one to open it up. I mean, the one to open the meeting. Apologize, everyone. After the amount of paperwork from the last meeting.
Let me look for it and I'll email it to. I need just a minute though.
But firstly, before we open the meeting, I want to thank everybody for their professionalism and decorum. It was a very difficult meeting, and really, went better than I expected. You know, the people coming out to speak were very professional and courteous, and I think we as a board handled it quite well. I apologize. This is very unprofessional of me. I thought I had my whole perfect. I am 1,500 miles from home. So.
All right, I just sent you the one I had. That might be the older one. You may have to just, since they changed it.
I will.
Out of it, some of the stuff. I don't think they.
I get it. Sure. Oh yeah, it's just the older one, but it's okay. Well, as long as we open it with the. Okay, my name is John Catino, Chairman of the Board of Appeals. I'd like to open this Board of Appeals meetings at 7:03 p.m. here on October 23rd, 2024. I want to confirming member access as preliminary matter. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Let's see, who's Sean Masterson, John Mosier,
Yes.
Arnold Cohen,
Yes.
Dan Hunt,
Here.
Jim Burton,
Here.
Mike Damasio.
Here.
Excellent. Staff, Adina?
Here.
Okay. Good evening. This open meeting of the Board of Appeals is being conducted remotely. In order to mitigate transmission, that's someone. Let's see, this meeting is being held entirely remotely, and the public body makes provisions to adequate alternative means to ensure the interested members of the public are provided reasonable access to the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless the participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting of the Board of Appeals, is being conducted via Zoom, is posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. and it's also being broadcast on HCAM through one of its many channels. Please note this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided by the members of this body and are available on the town's website via the web meeting calendar, unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda, unless I note otherwise. We are now turning to the first item of the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to assure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude the remarks, the chair will invite board members to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait till I yield the floor to you and state your name again before speaking. If any members wish to engage with each other, please do so through me, taking care not to identify yourself. After members have spoken, I will afford public comment. First, I will ask the members of the public who wish to speak to identify the names and addresses only. I will make a list of those, and once I have the full list, I will call on each and afford 2 minutes for any comments. Each vote will be taken by a roll call vote. Now we'll go to the first agenda. Okay. Okay. We're going to be discussing board reorganization and the zoning advisory liaison, but let's wait till we have a vice chair and we have a full complement of people, I believe. We have the review and adopt the minutes from September 25th. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes? I was not at that meeting, but I have reviewed the minutes and I did speak to people about how the meeting went, and it seems in order to me. But does anybody have any changes to the draft that was submitted, or wants to make a motion to accept the draft as written?
Motion to accept as written.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Sean?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And where are you? Oh, Mike, there you are. You're in the bottom corner. Mr.
I
Hunt.
abstain. I wasn't there.
Okay, and I wasn't there, but I will vote in the affirmative because it does link up with what I saw and heard. Okay. Future meeting dates. Is everybody going to be available for November 13th? Just want to make sure that everybody's going to be there with me.
One miss.
Yeah, I'll be there on the 13th.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. And then that's the one I'm really worried about at this point. Dina, do we have anything for the 20th or the 11th?
We have one for the 20th, but it's not posted yet. It's in. I'm not sure. It should make it as long as everything's complete. That's it. That's in right now.
Okay. All right, great. All right, now we'll commence the public hearing. Does anybody have the agenda up? Are we doing, which one are we doing first? Are we doing 27 or 27 Hayden Row first?
Yes.
Okay. The Town of Hopkinton Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested in the application for a special permit into a variance filed by Judith and Thomas Sullivan of 27 Hayden Row, Hopkinton, Massachusetts. The applicant seek relief from the zoning bylaws to construct a new deck that does not meet the minimum setback requirements of 27 Hayden Row, Hopkinton, Massachusetts. The property is shown on Assessors Map U16, Block 179, Lot 0. The hearing will be held remotely using the Zoom meeting service. For additional information, please email zba@hopkinma.gov. Call the Department of Land Use and Planning and Permitting at 508-497-9745 or check the online meeting calendar and agenda for this meeting may.gov. This legal notice is also posted in Massachusetts Newspapers Publishers Association MMPA website at masspublicnotices.org. John Catino, Chair and Clerk, regarding 25008. Let me go back to the screen. Okay, Judith, would you?
Now, John, I
Yes.
have to recuse myself because I'm a butter.
You always abutting people on the lake. How big is your
On the
property?
lake, on the lake.
Oh,
This
Aren't
is
you?
Hayden, this is Hayden.
it's Hayden Row.
Street.
Oh, wait a minute, you're right. Oh, the other one's on the lake. Sorry. Oh, okay, sorry. All right. Okay, so who's going to be representing this the Hayden Row property?
That's Thomas and Judith Sullivan at 27 Hayden Road. We're online.
Excellent. Could you please describe what you want to be doing?
We're looking to put a second deck or extend an existing deck, really, or replace an existing deck. We have a small doggy area that we've used for about 20 years since we moved here. It was just a small deck off the back of our house that went into a small doggy area. It's fenced in. The existing deck is getting to the point where it needs to be replaced, and we've been able to save up a little bit of money and expand the deck a little bit. So we're looking to just expand the deck to about, I think it's 15 by 10 or something, or 9, just so we can put a couple of chairs out there and enjoy the nice, springs and summers that we have up here and be able to sit outside. It is a 2-family, so we're on the second floor, and it's a little bit difficult as we get older to get outside and enjoy the outdoors. So we're looking to just put a small deck on the back, replace the existing deck that's small, and just put a small deck for my wife and I to enjoy the outdoors a little bit more.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have, any of the board members have any questions for Thomas and Judith?
Is that deck, Mr. Chair, is that deck a safety hazard? Looking at the picture, it looks like it may have some rot in there. Is that a safety issue as well?
The existing one.
Not yet. The existing one, I have re-screwed some stairwell treads recently to the existing one. It is 20 plus years old at this point, and it could be in the next year or two. It could be something that it could be a safety, but right now I don't believe it is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hey, Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alan.
I have a question. Why, just for my own curiosity and maybe everybody else's, why do you need to, what's the reason you need to get a special permit to do this?
That's what we were told by the town. The clearances and setbacks are off a little bit. It would be within, it's changed since we moved in here. The deck would still be within our fence line. Our fence, the doggy area fence, is still well within our property line, but the deck would not extend over the existing doggy area fence. it would still remain inside of that doggy area.
Change the setbacks.
And
Right,
then,
yeah, Arnold, it's the side setback.
yeah, they changed since we moved in. The first deck was approved, and then they changed them, so we needed to. I had a contractor. My contractor went to go get the permit, and he was told we had to go through this process, so that's what we're doing here.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for them? Okay, I will open it up to the public. Are there any members of the public that wish to voice an opinion on this?
It looks like Dave Roberts, Mr. Chair.
Oh, Dave, yes, okay, oh, there's the hand up. Okay,
Hey,
you
John.
moved, you were in the middle of the screen, you went up to the upper left-hand corner of mine, sorry.
Beauty of Zoom. Hey, so I'm their abutting neighbor on 29. I'm not really directly affected because I can't see their deck out my window, but I'm the abutter, and all of us here in downtown, as I think it was Mike who recused himself, will say, none of our lots conform to the current zoning standards for the town. But I'm totally in favor of them being able to replace their existing deck, and from what I've seen, it shouldn't affect anybody in the town except for them living in their house.
Excellent, yeah, it's funny, this might be it's a little off subject, but whoever we do pick as our liaison to the ZAC, I would like them to look into changing the lot size for the downtown. I tried getting it through about 10 or 15 years ago, and I was just a bad salesman because I believe at the time Elaine and I determined that that well over 70% of the lots in the downtown area do not conform to the 15,000 square feet that is required. And if we reduce it to 8,000 square feet, then 79 or 80% of the lots will be conforming, and people won't have to come to do this every time they want to fix a deck. But we're going to look into that.
Yeah, it's even crazier. We're kind of like we're the inside of a pie shape. We all have great big wide backyards, but our front yards are tiny.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I know that. I lived on. I owned a house on Grove Street, so I know the downtown. But I had a 15,000 square foot lot, and mine was perfectly square. But anyway,
Tom absolutely has a nice big yard. It's just out behind it.
Oh no, I get it. Thank you. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's one of the cool things about a little old town. But anyway, okay. So, if there are any other members of the public, okay. Before I close it, Judy and Thomas, do you have anything else to add?
No, the town's been great during this whole process. They've made it real easy for us, and we're just looking forward to continuing to live here and enjoy the town.
That's Adina's department. Thank you, Adina. All right. So, I'd like a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Okay, Sean and Jim, thank you very much. John, I guess we get double. Okay, any discussions on the motion to close? Hearing none. Oh, wait a minute. Who we got on this one? Let's see, who's here? We got Jim. We got Arnold. We got Mike 3. I'm 4. And then we've got Dan and John and Sean. John took the last one. John, will you take this one?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Adina.
John,
Yes.
you can't count me. I recuse myself.
Oh, right. Okay. Dan. Okay. Thank you, Mike. I always count you though because you always ask the best question. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So Dan, will you take this one also? Thank you very much. Okay. So you get Jim, Dan, Arnold, John, and myself. Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. So Jim, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion? Any more questions for Thomas and Judith on this?
John, through the chair. Looking at page 23 of their presentation, there's a nice little graphic which shows where the deck's going to be, which is inside the current stairway. So it doesn't impede anybody else. So I have no issues with it.
That's right. That's why I knew this. You know, this is so great after the last meeting. It is so good to be back to our normal, you know, just granting people the kindness that the town should give somebody because of the broad brush strokes that we do when we did zoning originally, and how much the town has changed since 1954. I wasn't even born yet. Okay, but anyway, so with that, let me see what I can do to facilitate a finding. I move that the Board of Appeals accept and approve the findings that the proposed alteration is an exacerbation of the shape of the lot questions and regular particularly. Okay, the proposed alteration is exacerbation of the pre-existing nonconformity and requires a special permit in order to alter the deck from the proposed condition. The shape of the lot in question is irregular and particularly narrow in the front of the lot. The applicable criteria and standards set forth in Chapter 210 have been satisfied, and the proposed change is not substantially more detrimental to the. I move that in the light of the findings, the Board of Appeals approve the requested special permits pursuant to Section 210-119 and Section 210-128A of the Hopkins zoning bylaws.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion in the second? Hearing none.
John,
Yes.
don't you have to do this in two steps? One for the findings and then one for the.
I apologize. But this is why, because you usually make the motions. You don't make me make the motions. See? Okay. Okay. So let's vote on the findings. If Adina got those, it's an exacerbation of pre-existing nonconformity, requires a special permit in order to the deck to be in proposed condition. The shape of the lot in question is regular and particularly narrow, and all applicable criteria set forth in 210 of the zoning bylaws have been satisfied, and the proposed change is not substantially more detrimental. Could I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, any discussions on the motion for the findings? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, so we'll review the findings. And I'll read the decision. I move that in light of the findings, the Board of Appeals approve the requested special permit with Section 210-119 and Section 210-128A of the Hopkins zoning bylaw. Now, was there I don't
The
have,
grant.
I had to close the window, so I don't know the exact number of feet that we wanted to allot them.
5 feet. They asked for 4.6.
Oh, yeah, so we always,
Give them
yes,
5.
we better, yeah, exactly. Okay, so I accept that friendly amendment there. Okay, now, did we get the second? I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay. Tom and Judy, you've got it. Please contact the use of planning, and they will give you all the specifics on what goes next. But there is a 20-day hold on it, just in case somebody does it. So if you do go ahead, you are liable. But please check with them, and they will give you everything.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for the work you do too, by the way.
Good luck on your construction project, and thanks for making Hopkinton a great place to live. Okay.
Have a good night.
Public hearing notice. The Town of Hopkins Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested in the application for a special permit and/or variance filed by Tyler DeWolf, 47 Oakhurst Road, Hopkins, Mass. The applicant seeks relief from the zoning bylaws to replace an existing structure with a new single-family dwelling that does not meet the minimum setback requirements and exceeds the maximum percentage of lot coverage allowed at 47 Oakhurst Road, Hopkins, Mass. The property is shown on Assessors Map R28, Block 114, Lot 0. The hearing will be held remotely using the Zoom meeting service. For additional information, please email zba@hopkinma.gov, call the Ladies Planning and Permitting at 508-497-9745, or check the online meeting calendar and agenda for this meeting at hopkintonma.gov. This legal notice is also posted in Massachusetts Newspapers Publishers Association MMPA website at masspublicnotices.org. John Catino, Chair and Clerk, regarding 25-010. Okay. Oh, Tyler, there you are, right there. Would you please just describe your project?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Tyler DeWolf. This is my wife, Alyssa. We both live at 47 Oakhurst Road. Just want to say thanks for everybody's time. We're gonna let George present it.
Hi, can I share screen, please?
Absolutely.
Is that working?
Disabled. Disable screen sharing. Oh, here we go.
How's that?
Here we go. Okay, this is one part of the presentation. It is the existing house on Oakhurst. You can see that it's a fairly old house. Our records indicate it was built somewhere about 1951, according to a deed which transferred the property at that time and had the language of the building thereon. You can see the grade along the front area of the house, driveway. Then there's a retaining wall just back a few feet from the front of the house. And this lot drops off significantly. That's the basement of it. And at the back of the house, the walkout basement, and then the land continues to slope down towards the lake. I also have another drawing I'd like to put up. This is the plot plan. I think this will tell you the whole story. If we look at this, we have a building setback line that would conform to the existing zoning. We have a 45,000 square foot zone requirement. We're at 7,000. We have a 150 foot requirement for frontage. We're at 60. So this particular house is going to encroach on everything imaginable except for the rear yard. We have a tabulation on the plan that shows those various encroachments up in this corner here. I'll go through that at some point in time, but basically, other than rear yard, we're over on everything. It is a pre-existing non-conforming lot. There have been a number of special permits issued in the area for sort of a thing. There are large houses going up where these smaller houses are all being found to be inadequate for today's lifestyle and all that. We have worked diligently on this. We had a telephone pole. At one point, we had Eversource move it for us. The land to our north is open space parcel, not owned by the town, but it is an open space parcel from the original subdivision. Owner's unknown, and it's for passage to the pond. We do have houses adjacent to us, and in the other set of application documents, we show a number of these houses up close to the street. Zoning came in 1954, according to our research, and so this house was built before zoning. As I indicated, the topography is very steep from about this point back, and in order to develop this particular site any differently by pushing the house back, we would have tremendous grade issues coming back, because basically at this point, the lot drops down about 8 feet vertically, walls supporting it. So we think that this is a reasonable approach to this. We don't want to go too far back, so we've kept the house at 20 feet for parking in front, and then of course they'll go into the garage unless the kids have all their bikes in there. So I'd be happy to respond to questions, comments, and/or suggestions on this rather than belaboring all the minutia of our petition.
Well, I'd like to say, Tyler and Alyssa, thank you very much. I'm so glad to be back doing stuff on the lake, because we do have like one a month on the lake, and after what we just dealt with at our last meeting, this is so refreshing to get back to our usual one on the lake and one downtown. It's just great. Yeah, because all the things that you guys are just describing are things every house that we've dealt with. Some of the members of the board that have been here with me for several years will attest to that. Every time a new house goes up, this is exactly what Mr. Damasio probably has his list of questions that he normally asks, because we do this so often. But I'll let the other members speak. This is great.
Yeah, never heard that before.
Yeah.
You didn't come to our last meeting.
Well,
Okay,
thank you.
I'll tell you.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Connors?
Through the chair, noting that there's a requirement to work with the Conservation Commission, and looking at the pictures, and there's a steep grade, as you point out. What is the plan to manage that grade and drainage?
We do have.
This is outside our scope. This is going to go to the Conservation Commission, but just for my own edification, I'd like to know, how's that going to be managed?
We obviously have to go through conservation within 100 feet of the wetlands, and basically the entire lot is. Mr. DeWolf from Newview has actually dealt with the Conservation Commission on this when they acquired the property. They've made some improvements to some problems that existed prior to their acquiring the property. We're well aware of it. We're working on grading plans and things of that nature so that we can maintain basically the grade that exists in that 41.5 feet along the back. And it's all open at this particular point in time. There'll be some plantings and things of that nature that are done there. And he's done some work along the retaining wall that's right here, and some steps that go down into the lake. So he has been actively engaged with the Conservation Commission over the last year or two.
Okay, thank you. And then again, through the chair, just noting that northwest corner is really pretty tight there at 2 feet. How do you think you can manage that? That's a very tight tolerance. You expect 2 feet to be the outside tolerance or the inside tolerance?
The outside tolerance.
Okay, thank you.
But we have engineers, builders, and lawyers on this board. And Mr. Mosier, as you can tell, is an engineer.
That's why I'm worried, Mr. Chairman. You got all three.
Yeah, and the way I look at that corner and is the open space that's right next to it, and it will never be a buildable lot, especially since it's been open space now for decades. Actually, the town should probably have. I'll check with John Gilcher, see if the town can take it over for eminent domain.
John, you're breaking up.
Oh, sorry, I might have a bad internet connection. But anyway, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Connors?
Yeah, I have a real quick question, Mr. Chair. That side lot that is open space, did I hear you correctly, Mr. Connors, that there's no recorded ownership of that lot?
Owners unknown, yes. We believe it was the original subdivider, I think. Wait, Deneen, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Deneen, it would be, yeah.
Deneen, yeah, way back when. Yeah. And
yeah, I'm just
dedicated as passage to the pond, but there's been no transfer of it in any of the registry documents that I've traced down. There was a question as to when the house was built. So I had to go back before 1965, is what the assessor had, but we knew it was before that. And then I think I had to prove to the town that it was pre-zoning of 1954. So I did go back in the registry of deeds quite a ways, and also looking at others in the area for the original subdivision. And I never found anything that took that parcel anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think from a notice standpoint, all the abutters have been noticed. The town's on notice pursuant to your application. I litigated a case with a similar issue where it was unknown and then people came out. But it doesn't appear to be, if all the abutters have been noticed and the town obviously is on notice through this application. That was my question.
Excellent.
Mr. Chairman,
any other questions?
Sean.
Just noting again this piece of property, taking a look at it on satellite, it does look like there's some type of access, a deck there, so it's being utilized, but doesn't appear as though the proposal would interfere with that access whatsoever.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Made sure of that.
Yeah. Okay.
John?
Yes.
Through the chair, why isn't this dwelling centered more in the property? So you're not going so close to the, north property line?
So that we can get access back there in case of fire or whatever.
The way I look at it is, if there's one that they should be close to, it's that one, rather than create an even more egregious one on the south side.
But they have 16 feet on the south side.
We do, but we have to build retaining walls to get down there. We do have some diagrams of how that's going to go when we file with conservation. And there's going to be a couple of retaining walls, one right along here, and then another one along here, and steps going down, a little platform or a little landing, and then more steps going down. So that work there with walls and grading so that you can get easy access down to the back was our thought process on encroaching up to that northerly property line. And I believe, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, did you talk to the fire department about this?
No, I haven't talked to the fire department.
My experience is we always try to make access around buildings that are really easy for the fire department to deal with. And this makes that sense.
Well, given you have retaining walls here, it's not like they're gonna bring apparatus down that side at all. And like I said, going 2 feet to a property line, I can't, I've been on this board a long time. I can't remember ever giving side yard setback relief for that short a distance. That means that whole wall has to be 1 hour rated, and you can't have you can have windows in the wall, but they'll have to be fire rated windows.
But again, the way I see it is, if that's a completely open space, then it's we look at problems at the lake all the time. The people with parking and having to put the house as far back as they possibly can just to fit a car in the front of it and stuff. It's definitely one of the toughest places to build in town. The downtown is hard, but lake is just freaking awesome.
Well, I agree, but somebody owns that property on the other side, and who knows when they come forward and potentially want to build there.
Sean, you said you litigated something like this before. What happened?
Yeah, it was a right of way. This was in Rhode Island, so a little bit different, but it was a right of way similar where a developer had come in. That space was left open for access to the water, but it was never properly deeded. And one of the questions came up after development, that because it wasn't the proper parties weren't noticed, right? There was an issue. So my concern is that, are we providing the proper notice to an owner or potential owner? But if there's nothing on record, I don't know how the town has it taxed. I don't know what the tax assessor says about that particular lot. I mean, presumably somebody has to be taxed on it, right? If it's not town-owned property. I would assume. Because the issue is, and I see Mike's point, if somebody comes, 5 years down the road and says, oh my God, that's my property, you didn't notice me, there could potentially be, an issue.
But it's not a buildable lot. They'd still have to come to us to build it.
Yeah, but they would too, right? But what if it were encroaching? If they felt, I don't know, maybe I'm making something up, but if it were encroaching on their property, my concern when I looked at first off, when I looked at this originally, I thought maybe the applicants owned that property. And my question was, why isn't it common ownership? But it does go. Excuse me, it does go to an issue of notice. And that's my only concern.
The town has nothing on it going back 70 years. Now, I don't know, probably nobody's taxed on it. As a former Board of Selectmen member, you look at those things, it's sort of like when we were looking at water meters and the leaking water. Replacing the water meters, we could save 10 to 15% in water usage. If we started looking at all the lots that have no ownership or missing ownership, we'd bring in some more taxes.
Yeah, it's odd to me that it's not. It's a separate lot.
But the whole lake area is just tough. When they had those postage stamps, they gave people 50 by 50 feet. And it's just crazy. And then so Mike, you check me if I'm wrong. or John, you know, but I believe that if somebody built on their 50 by 50, that they could go lot line to lot line, and that our setbacks do not don't work on that anymore. And that's like the only place in town that can happen. If there was an original 50 by 50 lot.
I have no knowledge of that, John.
Like that was one of the things, I think Elaine told me that years ago. Was like, seriously? It was 50 by 50 lots. You could go line to line. I just thought it was strange.
I haven't heard that in 20 years.
Yeah, I'm looking at the GIS map lookup, and when I look for an address on that or a tax bill, it doesn't come up. It's blank.
Oh, thanks. I was going to do that myself, but I only have one computer with me here, and I didn't want to lose.
I'm using my phone, and I'm surprised I can do it.
Yeah, last year I had three different screens going so that I could bounce back and forth, and now I'm just working on one laptop. It's slowing me down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I don't share the same concern as Mike does relative to the 2 feet, if in fact it's an open space, right? If it were open space, dedicated open space, I don't think I'd have that same concern. If there is an owner and that owner was noticed and the owner didn't object, I don't think I'd have a concern.
When the vice chair and I were looking over the application as we're supposed to for each one, we both said the same thing about the that 2 foot, if it's it being open space, and we just have to go with the information that we know at the time. So right. if at this time we don't know, and it's owner unknown, and we can go back 70 years, that's what we know at this time.
I will note that there's 3 other small parcels, more like strips going down to the lake from Oakhurst along that side. 2 more southerly and 1 more northerly. So it's obviously a common scheme in my mind.
Yeah, through the chair, I thought it's the same thing.
Yes,
There appear to be some consistency with these irregular lots that give access to the waterfront. I think that Mike brings up a good point, but I think if I was in the neighborhood, I'd defer to have that house located closer to that unoccupied open space, and it gives a little more breathing room to the neighbors towards the south.
That's the way I look at it.
There's actually
yes, we're not deliberating yet.
2 houses to the south that actually look like they almost overlap.
Hey, that's the lake.
Not unusual down in this area.
To your point, Mr. Chairman, about dealing with the information that we have, I think seeing these other lots that are not consistent with what we're interpreting as open space right now, that gives me some comfort to that tight setback.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Connors or Tyler? Okay, I'm going to open it up to the public. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this? Wow, that wasn't our last meeting, was it?
That may have addressed my concern.
What did you do last week?
Pardon me?
What did you do last week?
It was a convenience store and small gas station.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
I read about that.
And we had like 100 people come up and speak. We had 2 or 3 in favor and about 100 that were not in favor.
Imagine.
So the meeting went for 3 hours. And, yeah, because we end up meetings at 10 o'clock no matter what. This is why they like when we have something from downtown and something from the lake, because we know those. Yes, those other ones are a little tough, and the meetings continued to the 13th. So just before you came on, I just confirmed that all my board members were going to be by my side for that one as we get back into it on the 13th. But the public hearing is closed, so it's only going to be deliberations. But anyway, okay. So if there's no members from the public, motion to close. What else?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a second. Okay, we got a second. Beautiful. Thanks, you guys. Okay. Any discussion of the motion to close the public hearing? Oh, Mr. Connors, could you stop sharing your screen for me? So I can get all my members back up on. Thank you. I got everybody back. Okay, good. All right. Okay, let's see. Who do we have on this one? So Mike, are you back in on this?
Yes.
Okay. So
My property doesn't reach all the way down to the lake.
I don't know. Hey, you're a rich guy. You probably own lots of property. Okay. So that's me, Jim, Arnold. Okay. So John, you were in on the last one. Sean, you got that one. No, yeah. Dan, you're in the vote. Dan, you got this one. Okay. All right. Jim, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, so we close the public hearing. Any discussion, or does somebody want to make a motion, or you guys gonna leave it up to me again? Okay, I will do the findings. The proposed alteration is an exacerbation of the pre-existing nonconformity. It requires a special permit in order to alter the deck to the proposed condition. The shape of the lot in question is unique in the lot is undersized with respect to the required zoning dimensions. The rear of the property serves as a shoreline of Lake Maspinock, and the lot topography slopes significantly downward to the frontage along Oakhurst Road. The applicable criteria and standards set forth in Chapter 210 of the zoning bylaws have been satisfied, and the proposed change is not substantially more detrimental to that neighborhood. Do I have a second on the findings?
Second.
Any discussion on the findings? None. Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, so it's the findings. And my decision, I move that in light of the findings that the Board of Appeals approve the requested special permits pursuant to 210-119 and Section 210-128A of the Hopkins zoning bylaws. Now, let's give some numbers to this. Does anybody have it open? I have my, let's see, the existing full from the adjacent property with 25 Hayden Road. Let's see.
May I suggest that's tabulated on the plan?
Thank you very much. Thank you. That makes it easier for me. I really appreciate it because I can't open up that screen right now. Okay. So do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. Any discussion on the motion in second? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Oh.
Who'd you call? Yes. Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I'll vote in the affirmative also. Okay, it passes. Excellent. Tyler, you're all set. There's you got a lot of stuff still to do.
John, you have to do the variance.
Oh, where's the, I don't have, oh shit. Oh yeah, there it is, sorry. Okay, 1 second. I move that the light of the findings, the Board of Appeals approves the variance, or do I know it's through the findings? Sorry.
Yeah, there's separate findings for the variance.
Yes, thank you. The shape and the topography of the lot in question is unique, and the lot is significantly undersized with respect to the required zoning dimensions. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. The rear of the property serves as a shoreline of Lake Maspinock. The northwestern property line abuts town-owned land, and the topography slopes significantly downward from the frontage along Oakhurst Road to the water line, limiting the potential locations of the dwelling unit. A literal enforcement of the provisions of 210 will result in a hardship to the applicant, as the location and lot coverage of the dwelling is significantly limited by the shape and topography of the lot. The desired relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. And number 4, the desired relief may be granted without substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of Chapter 210 of the zoning bylaws. Do I have a second on the findings, or any modifications thereto or thereof? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Hold a second. Are you going to give a dimension? You're giving 10 feet, or you're giving 10 feet.
Well, I was going to give that in the decision. The setback was no less than 20 feet, lot coverage no more than 27.5% of the lot. Is that
tabulated on the plan?
Yeah, I mean,
we normally spell out the amounts.
Well, I have that in this. I was going to put that in the decision. But the setback from the street should be no less than 20 feet, and the maximum lot coverage allowed should be no more than 27.5% of the lot. And should we say no less than 2 feet from the other lot line? Want to add that one?
No, because that's not part of the variance.
Oh, okay. All right. So now, so John, would that work? Gelters? The findings?
Yeah, so it's written so that the dimensions that are being granted relief are in the decision, as the chair said. So the findings are just the justification for the decision, and then the decision spells out what the actual relief is.
Okay, but I have a second on the findings.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Now for the decision. I move that in the light of the findings, that the Board of Appeals approves the variance request and allow for reduction in the dimensional requirements of the Residence Lakefront District for the property located at 47 Oakhurst Road as specified below. The setback from the street shall be no less than 20 feet, and the maximum lot coverage allowed shall be no more than 27.5% of the lot, pursuant to section 210-146 and 210-152A of the Hopkins zoning bylaws. Does anybody want to give me a second or any modification thereof?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay, Tyler and Alyssa, you got a big project ahead of you. Good luck.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks. Thanks for continuing to grow your family in the town. We all love it here, and we know that you're going to continue to love it here also.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was born and raised in this town, so I'm excited to start my own family here. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, God bless. Have a good one. Be safe.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, everyone. So, The next meeting is going to be the real pain in the neck one. So let's do the reorg. Let's wait to the reorg until the easy one that comes up on the 20th, and then hopefully we get everybody here and we can work on it. But all hands on deck for the next one. I really appreciate everybody coming if possible, because we got to discuss this one and put it to bed. That being said, anything else anybody want to bring up before I look for a motion to adjourn? Okay, did I get a motion?
Motion to close the public hearing. I mean, not the public hearing, the meeting.
We already closed the public hearing before. We'll close it. Yes, close it to adjourn the meeting. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, any discussion on the motion to close? There, go ahead, Costa. You got me saying adjourn. Oh gosh, you guys, this is great though. This is such a relief. My goodness. God bless. Okay, Jim, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote to close also. Everybody, thank you so much. Adina, thank you very much. John, really, thank you really appreciate it. Thanks for making it so easy for us. Bob, thanks for having us on HCAM. Really appreciate it. God bless everybody, and I'll see you at the next meeting. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, folks.
Good night.
Good night.